Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's show, the Beautifully Bruised and CPS show. I am so glad that you tuned in today. I just wanted to change it up a little bit today. I know we normally are having a lot of great stories that people come on and share what is actually going on with them in their lives, with their CPS stories. Just some of the stories are really devastating. You just can't believe that this is actually legal, allowed to even happen here in our country. So I've had people to say, is those stories real? And I once again, I must say, yes, these are people's lives where their children has been taken away from them. And sadly to say, all are not for legitimate reasons. A lot of this I found out by being a victim to CPS is that a lot of times this is connected to money, power, and politics. And unfortunately, it's a gruesome system that is heartless, and it is about money and greed and power. And a lot of times it's sad and sick to think about who would think that would be more important than children being with their parents and their families, people that have raised them, that love them, and that want them in their lives. So it's a constant fight. And because of that, I actually had to kind of think back on some things that I had endured. Unfortunately, I have been a victim to CPS. That is the reason why I'm sharing my story. And I just must say, everyone know that before I get into my story, I know if it wasn't for God who gave me the strength to endure, to survive, to overcome everything that the devil was trying to do to destroy me, to wear me out. The devil know he might can't take you out, so he'll try to wear you out. And I do believe that is definitely something that when I came through CPS, and I'm not going to lie to you, it's been times, and my case, by the grace and mercy of God, was years ago. And it's times, probably in the last year or two, I still felt emotionally exhausted. My energy level I just felt exhausted. My attorney at the time did advise me, once you come out of this ring, like a wrestling, WWE wrestling. I know my son loves to watch Raw wrestling, the WWE rings, and I kid you not, she said once you come out, by the grace and mercy of God, you will be out once you complete all the shenanigans they take you through. But it takes a toll on you, and it does cost you something. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy, because it's not. And because of that, that's why I want to go have this show dedicated as Monday Motivation. Sometimes people just need to be motivated. Sometimes people just need to be encouraged. You never know what someone is going through. Just because they're smiling on the outside, you never know what's that last thought or that thought that's crossing their mind on the inside. So I just think it's apparent that it's sometimes just, again, if it's just some kind words, if it's just a compliment, sometimes I find myself saying those things even before I realize it, but you never know how the Holy Ghost or God is operating through you. Sometimes a person just needs to hear that one kind word. You don't know what they came home from. You don't know where they about to go into, going home to, or leaving a job, going into a job, stressed out, anxiety, depression is on a ramp rate. It's on a high rise right now. Mental illness, so many things that's taking place, the economy, so many things is what I'm saying that you can find a reason to not be happy about. Even with myself, sometimes when things cross my mind, it's easy to get caught up in the tricks and schemes of things. But you have to remind yourself who you are, and prayerfully you have to remind yourself who you are in Christ, because God will give you a strength like no other. I know that's what he did for me. He gave me the knowledge, the wisdom, and the discernment to how to keep going and maintaining no matter what. This life is not easy. This journey is not easy, but as we know, the race isn't given to the swift, but to the ones that's strong in heart, and that has, honestly, I truthfully can say that it's been my testimony. That has been my story. It's not that you don't want to give up. It's not that you don't get tired, but you just got to know deep down within that where there is a will, there is a way. And you might endure for a night, but joy will come in a morning. You might endure for a season, but the good thing is that tough times don't last always. But guess what? Tough people do. So with that being said, again, I would like to title this show's episode as Monday's motivation. This is motivation. I don't know what you came off of this weekend. I hope and pray that you didn't get a CPS investigation business card stuck in your door somewhere in your car or on your job or anything of that nature, or that phone call or that text. I'm praying that that wasn't the case, but the truth be told, that a lot of times that is the case. More people deal with CPS than what I think people realize. So again, I also like to thank Attorney Vince, the producer Grace, for them having the heart to even think, to even have this platform for people like myself and you as well, to come on here and vent, to come on here and to discuss what's going on in your own personal journeys and your own personal stories. Maybe you have got a CPS phone call. Maybe you have had a caseworker that have came to your door and you don't know what to do. You could be a family member even that knows someone that is dealing with CPS and you want to help, but you don't know what to do. So this is a great platform because you have an attorney that has been, my God, in the trenches in the battlefield fighting for families that has been victims to CPS and helping them to win their children back. So he provides a plethora of knowledge and wisdom and just revelation to me, because I wished I would have known a lot of things that's being shared on this story, whether it's from Attorney Vince or just other families. Because, everybody has something different, is what I've realized. A lot of the stories, don't get me wrong, are affiliated in certain ways, but everybody have their own unique story. And just to hear the difference in so many stories from a vast of so many different people, it's mind blowing. I noticed that yesterday, he said they even have CPS cases that I want to say they're out of the country. It's like, to me, I'm like, this is almost like a spreading epidemic. It's like a fire, an ambush, a fire that continues to spread. No matter how much water you put on it, it still seems to just increase throughout the land. So again, knowledge is power, transparency transforms. So I'm so glad that you know about this page. And even if you know somebody who don't know about the Beautifully Bruised and CPS show, there is a multitude of different shows, thank God, of different, stories that's being told. Attorney Vince, he is a legal wise counsel that knows CPS laws and knows how to fight the system. He comes on with a lot of gems and nuggets that I know that can help you. He brought people on that, my God, that work and with him or work with cases dealing with CPS, and so much knowledge is being shared, and it's normally something that can help you with what you're going with. So I just thank God for this opportunity again and this platform to help so many people that's dealing with CPS, because I know for me, it was way more than what I imagined, and I want to say that as well, realizing going into my CPS case that, I just used to think, okay, well, eventually, whoever this caseworker is, I didn't even know she was a caseworker. I just seen a lady that kept coming by unexpectedly at all different times of the day and late in the evening. And I said, well, my goodness, she continues to come around. So this can't be a business, a sales pitch. There's got to be something more to it. And as I began to look at the card and notice her, I said, you know what, I told him, I said, you need to maybe call and see what this is. And lo and behold, that's what it was. It was a CPS caseworker. And she was telling me that she wanted to meet with me and come into my home. And again, at the time, I had no idea what this really was. It's almost like you're entering into a Pandora box, with so many different levels. Some people even compare it to a black hole even. And I see why, because there's so many different layers. And while you're going through this vicious tunnel, it's also on a time limit. And what I mean when I say that is that a lot of times what I realized, I think it's important to share, normally by the time they're already at your door, they're already calling you, wanting to meet with you, wanting to come in your home, meet with your children. They've already started building up a case against you. So with that being said, again, while you're just now figuring it out, while they're coming into your house and you're trying to see what this visit is for, they've already been receiving information about you, whether it's true or not, whether, it's a mad ex or, it's a school teacher. I've even heard that use the systems, unfortunately, to retaliate. That's one of my guest stories. I never even heard of nothing like that, but you'll be surprised what people do when they're angry, and malice in their heart or spiteful. They will use any weapon they can to try to harm you and hurt you and your children. It's sad, but again, that's why it's important to know that these things are really happening in people's lives, and you can't take it lightly. So with that being said, like I said, 9 times out of 10, by the time they're already at your door, they've already probably pulling up your information, looking into your history, looking into your background, seeing whatever they can use against you, or finding out whatever they think they need to know about you. So again, with that being said, by the time they're at your door, I would strongly recommend, I wouldn't let them in. Honestly, I would seek wise counsel. I will let them know you prefer to have speaking through the door. I prefer to have my attorney present before I disclose any of my personal information. By law, I just rather have my attorney with me, before you come into my home, and I can fully understand what this visit is really truly about. So I don't say nothing that can, be used against me later down the line, or something I can possibly regret. Because again, whatever dialogue that you exchanging, that is something that is being recorded, and that is something that can be used against you with your children being removed. So that's why it's so highly important that I recommend, you seek legal counsel, and let your counsel decide to let you know what direction you need to go in regarding that. Again, I'm no legal counsel. I am just a mother. I'm gonna say just a mother, because a mother, we wear many different hats. We have many different things that we're able to multitask and handle and deal with and maintain. So being a mother is not an easy job. So God bless all mothers and grandmothers and great grandmothers and aunties and friends and whomever, sisters and cousins, whoever is stepping into the plate to come in to try to help families that's being victims to CPS. I spoke to a lady recently, by the grace and mercy of God. She don't even have any children, but I want to say her family member, if it wasn't her aunt or her niece, she was being her child had been removed by CPS. And because of that, she was just trying to understand more what was taking place to just step in and help. So I thank God for anyone that doesn't close the door. That if you have a family or friend or someone that's going through CPS, you want to give them support as much as you possibly can, because you have no idea psychologically, mentally, and emotionally, physically even, the stress and the emotional turmoil and the just the oppression that they're all up under with so much that they're being faced with. So I thank God, like, you for wanting to have the heart to help them in such a very complicated time in their lives that CPS is known to bring into families' lives, unfortunately. So with that being said, I don't want to get too far from my 5 points. Again, this is going to be a small segment today. This is just something that was in my heart that I wanted to share. And it was something that I realized as I was going through my encounter with CPS. If I would have known some of these things, it could have helped to, alleviate some of the ongoing occurrence with CPS. I could have been able to shorten my time span of having to interact with CPS by just knowing some of these things. And some of the things that I'm sharing as well is something that I realized after the fact, by learning through other people that told me what they've been through and what helped them, things of that nature. So with that being said, like I said, CPS doesn't go away. Unfortunately, if they're at your door, it's probably because they received a phone call from someone, whether it's the school, whether it's the daycare, whether it's an ex, or whatever the case may be, a police, whatever, something has occurred, and that's why they're at your door. So at that point in time, I strongly recommend, if it was me, I would not let them in. Please learn from my mistakes. I did that. And again, unfortunately, if you're dealing with a CPS caseworker who is not operating out of integrity, and if it's more of a personal or bias type of case that's more involved, then you could actually be saying things that you think that's helpful, but can actually end up being harmful to you with your encounter with CPS. So again, that's why I strongly recommend you seek legal counsel, whatever that may look like, whatever you can afford. I know it's not cheap. I do understand that truthfully, that it is a cost, but I just see your children as, this is your most valuable asset. When your life is no longer here, they're the one that's going to be your legacy. And to me, that price is priceless. I remember times giving over my whole paycheck to have legal attorney that knew the CPS laws, that was willing to fight for me and to fight for my children, that was aggressive. To me, it was a peace of mind because I knew I couldn't fight this battle by myself. And I felt assurance knowing I had that type of, someone in my corner that knew all, what I didn't know, which was majority of CPS, that they have fought cases, they have won cases, they knew what to expect, they knew how to handle themselves, and telling me how to proceed as well in the courtroom, dealing with so many hearings and dealing with judges and whatnot. So to me, it was essential. I think a lot of it has to do with it's all in your own perception. I've had people say, well, I don't want to pay for that. But my God, these are your children. These are hearts and souls we're talking about. We're not talking about some tennis shoes or cute dress or watch. I mean, this is your legacy. So again, I think, you can't tell nobody what to do with their money, of course. But again, this is a pretty much a decision that what are you willing to do to get what are you willing to do and sacrifice to get what you need, which is your children back home. So, that is at your discretion on how you see that. But I can just share to you as a mom that was once dealing with a CPS counter, I did sacrifice a lot. It did cost me something. And a lot of times that was majority of my income. But I can assure you, when I went ahead and paid for that type of assistance, that guidance, my case quickly the tides begin to turn very fast, because they know when you have legal counsel. See, when people know what you know, okay, they can't just tell you anything. They can't just say anything. When I know what you know, it's no longer a secret. Okay. So again, they know when you have hired legal representation, 9 times out of 10, you mean business. And I did. And I still do. And that's why I still care about a lot of people like me who was going through something that really wasn't aware. And I also believe that they use that against you because they know you don't know. They know you don't know. They prey on people, from what I observed in many court hearings, just sitting and watching. We weren't even in my hearing, but by the grace and mercy of God, the judge, since I was quiet, just, listening and taking notes, I was able to watch and see that a lot of people that were in there, they were single parents. They were people who were maybe seen to be uneducated. They knew, they didn't know how to handle those cases. Again, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. They know you don't know. They know you don't have access to resources to get an attorney. They know that, you don't know fully what all you have just stepped into, like the Pandora box, like the black hole, some people even call it, because it continuously changes from one caseworker to the next, from 1 minute to the next. It's like a revolving door of uncertainty is the way I described it from my own personal encounter. That lasted nearly a year. That should have been over within maybe a month or weeks or whatever, but they took it out as far as they possibly could go. My attorney shared that with me. They're taking this out where they couldn't take it anymore. Even with no reason to validate what they were trying to implement, they still did it. And gave me a reason why. When I asked them what changed, what is continuing to change, they will never respond. Why? Because it's a system that's broken, that definitely needs to be rebuilt from ground up. And I pray to God that I will be able to live and to see that to see that happen. That is my true prayer, sincere prayer for so many people, because it is an oppression. It is. So with that being said, I just want to point out, number one, just realize if a caseworker a CPS has entered into your life, please do your work. Please read up. Please be knowledgeable about who CPS is and what they're capable of doing. It's not a game and it's not a joke. They will take your children. Many guests on this show and other platforms on this, other shows on this platform, their kids have been taken. And a lot of times, sadly, they don't want to give them back. So you don't even want to get to that point. So that's why I'm trying to share at the beginning to avoid you from going in that direction. The sooner you can come away from CPS, the better off it will be for you and your children. Okay, so with that being said, yes, again, if they are, number one, please just realize what CPS is truly capable of. Even though they might seem fuzzy and friendly, that is not always the case. warm and friendly. That is not always the case. If you're dealing with a CPS caseworker who does not have integrity, actually, she could be over there to try to get more information to hold it against you, to be able to keep your kids from not being in your presence or taking them away from your home or your presence. Okay. Number two, again, become present and active in the moment. Take action. And what that looks like, again, is looking into getting wise attorney, getting a wise counsel, an attorney. If you can't get an attorney, Vince, wherever you located, get someone who knows CPS laws and that are aggressive and that's willing to fight for you and your children, and they mean it. And let it show that they mean it. Let it show you begin to start seeing things are changing and turning around in your favor. Not just saying it, not just talking a talk, but walking a walk. You can start seeing your business are beginning to be implemented. You're beginning to see you're going from supervised business to unsupervised business. You know, you'll begin to start, if you have representation that is skillful and they are doing things to help you, you will begin to start seeing that. You begin to start seeing things turn around in your favor. You know, action speaks louder than words. You will begin to start recognizing the differences. And if you're not, I would definitely become vocal and bring that to my attorney's attention and let her know your concerns and see what needs to be done to get it in your favor, where you're beginning to start seeing your child connecting or becoming engaged with you in visits, whatever they may look like, because it's a process, but you still at some point in time should be able to start seeing that, you know, you're beginning to get visits with your child more often and things are beginning to work in your favor with you and your caseworker sharing that information as well. I also like to mention, I don't have this written down, but I know that it was important to me to know 9 times out of 10, you know, this stuff can be very costly, right? Very pricey. So with that being said, CPS, unless they've changed, but they normally have access to resources. The government is what you're dealing with. And the government obviously have access to resources. I know they used to help with daycare assistance. You know, they could help with rental, where you live at, if you need help with your rent, things of that sort. You know, if you go into all these services, all these different classes, these psychological evaluations, these counseling sessions, you might not be able to work as much, might can't work at all. You might not even work, you know. So if you just see that you're needing help in certain areas to maintain your household, these services are normally available, even if your caseworker doesn't tell you. You know, and I'm not saying that they are for sure, but I know when I had my encounter, they were. And again, she never told me they were. I had to find out by someone that worked for them, thank God, was willing to share those things. So again, I would like for you to know that these services are normally in place. You know, if you need money, you don't know how you're going to make it, or, you know, just know if they've taken on an open case with you, you have a right to know about these services, because that's what they're for, right? To help you to be a better parent for not only yourself, but most importantly for your children. So utilize these services because that's what they're there for. So I think they need to be made known so you can know about them. I just think that was something that, you know, that was important to know. And along with that, because I know daycare can be so expensive. It's not cheap. So so again, if they can help you pay for these services, please, if they are available, I would definitely utilize them. Definitely, I would do that. I would also like to share that number 3, I've given you 2 pointers, and my third one is, and again, I only have 5, but my third one is like I said, again, just to reiterate, normally by the time their CPS is knocking on your door, you're getting that phone call or that text message out of nowhere, they've already probably received an investigation about you. 9 times out of 10, they already have speculations, if not already feel or think a certain way. Hopefully it's not in a biased way, but don't be alarmed or surprised if it is. That's just know that they're probably already steps ahead of you before you acknowledge and become aware of what you're really dealing with. So again, the sooner you can seek legal wise counsel, whatever that look like, I would jump right on it because time is of an essence. That is number 3. Number 4 leads me into the next one, is that time is crucial. And what I mean when I say that is, I have been told normally here, I'm in Texas, and normally by time, if your case has entered into 12 months or longer, I think I know every state laws is different, but CPS can actually keep your children after a certain time frame. I don't know if it's 12 months or 24 months, but I want to say around 12 months. Like I said, I went through it for 12 months or so. I knew that time clock was really ticking. And that's, to me, that was very disturbing to know if I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, but it's a clock that's ticking through this time frame. And when this clock go off, you can still keep my child. My child can be adopted out. I can lose my parental rights. To me, that's serious, So I was really trying to get stuff in as fast as I could, rushing against this clock. I mean, this is really a sick system, but sadly it's true. And thank God this platform is available to let you know what's really taking place. These are real lives that they're doing this way, and because of that, I tried to do as much as I could, as quickly as I could. I didn't want to give no reasons to say she didn't do her services, she didn't do her drug test. Like I tell everybody, I've never done drugs in my life. I took every drug test. I even had people at the drug test office tell me, I've never seen nobody go through I've never seen somebody who don't have a history of drugs that they're still making them take drug tests. But my attorney told me, they're just looking for stuff. Just, if you never done drugs, just do it. And I know some people go against that, but I will say this after what I've heard. Sometimes the drug tests that they take are false positive. And that is so disturbing to me. I kid you not. So again, I'm not going to tell you to take the drug test because of what I just heard about that. I would recommend you go to your attorney, because I know for a fact from what I've heard, if you take the drug test and it doesn't come back clean, that's automatically they will remove your kid. So I wouldn't tell you to take the drug test. Again, I would only tell you to seek wise legal counsel to tell you what you should do regarding a drug test, because knowing that could be a fake positive or fake real drug test, or negative positive drug test. I mean, who has time for that? Seriously. So I would even tell you to take it, seek wise counsel. I'm a mother that's been through CPS and the encounter. I experienced it. I survived it. And by the grace and mercy of God, I've overcame it. And that is the experience that I'm sharing on this platform, is that I wouldn't tell you to take the test. I would tell you to seek your legal counsel to advise you how you need to move forward regarding that. Because that could be another trap that's set up that you could fall in, that you don't need no more other things that could hurt your account against you getting your kids back. So, okay. And with that being said, by the time it's being crucial, like I said, here in Texas, I think around 12 months or longer, automatically within that time frame, they can just keep the kids. Sadly, right? Sadly, they can just, keep the kids. So prayerfully, that won't be your experience. But that's why I say it's so important for you to get in front of this situation versus before waiting till it get too late. I'm sorry. Do your work, be diligently at the beginning. That way you are, fully aware of what's going on, and you are not behind on anything. And the more you know, the better it is. So that's why I definitely, recommend to let you know time is crucial. So get on it, jump on it, read, get your legal counsel, do whatever you got to do as quickly as you can while that time clock is ticking. Okay. That's very important, because you don't want to wait till you get to near the end of your fourth or fifth hearing or whatever hearings you're at and realize, hey, I need an attorney. Because even some attorneys I heard say, if your case has gone too far or too long, they almost feel it's impossible to turn it around. Now, with me, with God, I believe nothing is impossible. But I do know that, you have to be mindful. The sooner you know about things, the better it is. So that's, to me, is wise. You're not waiting till the last minute or waiting till it's too late. Get on board as soon as you realize what you're really dealing with. Okay. And with that said, I just want to tell you my fifth thing I like to share is what helped me was, and I'm about to wrap up the show, is that I'm a believer. I'm not just a religious person. I am a believer, and it is a difference, because believers, for me, it take action. It takes getting involved. It takes doing the work. And I know for me, even times when I was dealing with my CPS encounter, I had my church calling me saying, hey, will you come and support the women's group? And I'm thinking to myself, I need somebody to support me right now. But they want me to go and support them. But you know what? I was obedient. I was obedient to God. I went out there and I spoke to them. And when I tell you, It was such a breakthrough in that room that day. It was people that opened up who had never talked about things like that. That was so personal. I mean, parents speaking of the loss of their children and physically, and just a lot of things that they've been carrying on that people didn't even know about. We were crying together. We was encouraging each other. People was, it wasn't, during COVID season, but thank God it seemed like I'm praying that's getting better, to be honest. My son just asked me 2 days ago, is COVID still out here? And I'm like, honestly, I don't even know. Because you see some people wearing masks and some don't. So that's a mystery as well. So don't get me started with that. But anyway, that's off the subject. But what I wanted to say is that it was such an encounter to go out and to connect with other women, and some were men that were dealing with children that had special needs, that were dealing with, maybe their children had been, they had CPS cases, or they lost their children, or, they're in the process of possibly losing their children. It was amazing. Actually, it helped me. When they called me to go out and help them, guess what? Guess what, y'all? It helped me. It encouraged me. It's like it strengthened me. Unity, people coming together for one great cause like this platform, it blesses people. It encourages people. It restores hope. It lets you know that it is not over yet. Don't put a comma where there should be a period. And I want to tell you, connect with somebody. Don't do this alone by yourself. I don't care if you have to call a friend, a church member, whatever that looks like, someone you can trust, that that really has your back and that cares about you and your children. Don't dare go through this CPS encounter alone. It is too big and too much for you to handle and deal with. That's why I say, I got even more involved in my church. Like I said, I was going out to different groups. We had to support each other, women and men in the ministry, and it was great for me because it helped to encourage me, to give me strength to keep going. That is what got me through, guys. That is what God gave me the strength to keep going, because I stayed plugged in. I stayed engaged in my church. It gave me hope like nothing else. Just to get a hug, just to get a phone call to say, I'm praying for you. I care about what you're going through. I'm here for you. You have no idea how much healing and how much empowerment that's good for the soul. So get plugged in with somebody who that truly cares. Get involved, read, learn, turn into these shows. All these shows 24/7 is empowering you with tools to help you be stronger, to be wiser about what you're really dealing with. Again, it's bigger than what you think. So don't handle this alone. So I'm going to do a quick recap, steps that I use to help me to first to survive CPS, and to most importantly, overcome CPS. And these 5 steps is: number 1, realize that the CPS case, it's not going to go away by itself. You're going to have to take it face on and become present in the moment and deal with what has been presented to you. Okay. Number 2, become present and also active. And what that looks like is look into getting wise legal counsel, an attorney that knows CPS laws, that will fight for you and your children, and that is aggressive. That's number 2. And if you can't do that, pro bono, whatever, do your research on that attorney. See if they won cases. What is their track record like? Do the research, read up, get as much information as you can about them to make sure they have what it takes to help you get what you need, which is your children back home. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3. Like I say, normally by the time the CPS that caseworker enters into your life, they've already somebody already created a case, or they're investigating you already. So they're already ahead of what you're just now realizing, even if you're just now realizing it. So you don't want to delay. You don't want to get comfortable. Don't get content. Don't think this is your little friend, because it could be somebody that's actually there to use what you're saying against you, turn it around against you. So again, I would tell you, get an attorney. Do not let nobody in your house unless your attorney advised you to do so. Okay. That's what I would do. That's what I wished I would have done. Okay. So, and I'm not saying again, all caseworkers are bad, because they are some that has integrity. I'm speaking again to the ones that does not. Okay. So that's number three. And number four, again, time is crucial. Just know as you're going through this case with CPS, it's a lot of amount of time, that they have to just know that the CPS caseworkers are working for the government. You are the advocate for your family and your children, most importantly your children. So remember to know what roles belongs to who. That's also, I do believe, is important. They're not there to be your friend. They're not there to be, to bake cookies and all this other fun stuff. They're not. They're there to do their job, and their job is for the government to investigate you and to remove your children if they don't see what they need, or you have an attorney that has the knowledge to fight them, regardless of what they reasons are. You have your rights as well, and just know that. So again, I just want to say that time is crucial. Act fast. Don't prolong. Move accordingly and as swiftly as possible. The better you are at playing their game, the better off you will be. Okay. Also, number five, get involved with your church. I don't care if you've never been to church before, you don't have a church home. Normally there's a church on every corner. That's the way it is here in Texas. I know every state is different, but I know churches all over the United States. Call somebody at the church. I don't care if you have to email them to say, hey, I don't know anything about your church, but hey, I'm just looking for a place of support. Because a lot of times churches do have great support systems within their ministry. So that's another opportunity that you can use. And a lot of times those ministries, those support systems are free. You don't have to pay for that. Just, strengthen yourself during this time, because you deserve it and you're going to need it for you and your children. So, and even if you don't have access to a church home, you can go on the internet. On Google, they got all kind of churches, online churches. I attend those as well. When I can't make it physically, I watch it online. So it's no excuse. And they also have sessions about counseling and things like that. We all know everything is on the computer. The world is on the computer. So there's always access to, getting that spiritual enliftment that you're going to need, that support, that strength that you're going to need as well. So, and even with that, if you have a family or friend or someone you can talk to who you can trust, share with them what you're going through, because to me it's too much for you to have to carry this burden alone. Share that with somebody that that has you and your children best interests at heart. Maybe they can recommend you to somebody that has a great support system, and just somebody just to listen to you sometimes does a lot of help as well, just to be able to vent and get that out and be able to begin to think clearly about what all you're facing. So that is something that I do know is important, to have that spiritual growth, a clear mind, the strong support system of strength and encouragement. So those are steps I found to be very detrimental with me and extremely helpful for me to be able to fight CPS, to survive CPS. And by the grace and mercy in God, I overcame CPS, and they were demanded to return my child back home. So again, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in today. My true sincere prayer is that this will help you in some kind of way, whether it's you going through that CPS case, or that grandparent, or that family or friend or caregiver, whoever you are. Thank God for you for being that ram in a bush to try to help your child or your family out in that time of need, because it's so important that you're doing that. And I pray God will bless you for doing that. So again, I just hope this is encouraging to you. It's useful to you. Share it with someone that may not know about the show. Please subscribe, please like, please, like again, share it with someone, because you never know what they're really facing or going through alone. And this might be something that can be that beacon of hope during their time of their journey with CPS. So again, thank you for tuning in. I must tell you, like I would always tell myself, that no weapon formed against me shall be able to prosper in Jesus' name. And I mean it. And it is so, and so it is. So I just want to tell you to keep fighting for your children. Don't you never give up. Help is available. This platform is available 24/7. Turn it on when you just need to be encouraged. That's what it's here for. I am praying for you, and I know God is able. And just keep fighting for your children. Do not give up. Okay? That's what I want to tell you, is to stay encouraged no matter what, because it's not over yet. So may God continue to bless you. Thank you again for tuning in to the Beautifully Bruised and CPS show. I am your host, Latrika Jones, and have a blessed day.